Background music can be a subtle art, and while getting it right can make a video better to watch, getting it wrong can significantly affect a video's performance, and not in a good way. So what can you learn from top performing videos on YouTube? How are the biggest and most successful channels using music? And what strategies can you borrow from them to use in your own content? There are a lot of different ways to do background music, and exactly how you add music to your videos is ultimately going to be up to you. There's no one perfect method, and you shouldn't copy someone else's without understanding the reasoning behind their approach. But if you watch enough videos, you'll start to notice trends in how music's been chosen and how it's been used. And after analysing some of the best performing content on YouTube, we found 3 guiding principles that were common to almost all of them. So what are they? And how can you use them to make your videos better? The first principle isn't exactly a secret, but it isn't exactly obvious either. It only really becomes clear when you start to watch the same kind of content, but delivered by different channels. And that is that many successful channels, especially those that revolve around a particular personality or a certain way of doing things, tend to choose music that matches the energy of the person who is delivering the information, and not the information itself. For example, Ali Abdaal and Mark Manson both provide self-help advice, sometimes entrepreneurial, sometimes to do with self-worth and mental well-being, but generally within the same ballpark as each other's content. However, their music choices are very different. Ali Abdaal, who comes across as mild-mannered, softly spoken and with a calm energy, uses calm music to match. While Mark Manson, who is more matter-of-fact and likes to deliver blunt, sometimes funny content, uses music that doesn't take itself too seriously. In both cases, the music matches the person, and even if you're new to either of the channels, you quickly get an idea of what the content is like because of the consistent style of their music. Which brings me to observation number 2. Most of the channels in our analysis used a consistent tone of music throughout their videos and across their channel, where even if the style of music was changed to match the subject of a particular scene, the overall tone was roughly the same. For example, Linus Tech Tips frequently uses music in the background of their videos, but switches it up between segments in time with the story beats of the video. However, even though the music changes, the style, and more importantly the tone, is consistent throughout, matching the wider theme of the channel and its content. But it's important not to apply this observation to your own videos too literally. While using a consistent style of music can work well, it's not always effective. For example, Kit Boga, who documents his efforts to waste the time of scam call centers, switches between 2 tones of music, one for when he's trolling scammers, and one for when he's describing the importance of trolling scammers. These are the 2 opposing elements of his videos. Comedy, because watching scammers getting scammed themselves is very funny, and the more serious side of the impact of scammers on vulnerable people, which his channel goes to great lengths to help protect. So in this case, one tone of music wouldn't work, and his videos typically switch between the 2. This is a good reminder that, while it is possible to draw conclusions from popular videos, it's still important to consider if those same techniques will apply to your own. However, we did make one observation that, of all the videos we analysed, applied to almost all of them. Almost all of the channels in our analysis that used music did it quietly. In some cases, the music level was so low that in most environments with any kind of background noise, it was almost impossible to hear at all. Likewise, channels that used music at a more moderate volume only did so because their placement of the music allowed them to. For example, MKBHD and Snazzy Labs both typically use intro and outro music at a moderate volume, but no music throughout the rest of their videos. While Modern Vintage Gamer likes to bring the volume of the music in his videos to a higher level than others do, but only during B-roll segments when he's not talking, after which he ducks the music down again. The main takeaway from this is that background music should be exactly that, music that sits in the background. If it's present throughout the entire video, then it should probably be very quiet, or raised to a more moderate volume if it's only used occasionally. Which can be an issue for some types of music, since not every track is designed to sit comfortably behind other audio. Watch this video next to find out why and what you can do about it when selecting music for your content.